Okay, this is 1-3. This stage, I just want to preface this stage first off by saying that there is a section in here that has three different ways you can do it. The optimal ways are much more difficult, and I don't do that, at least not right now. That's not to say I never will. Um, but it's called rockshot, and it happens about halfway through the cave section. And I've got Brooklyn, I've got his PB pulled up, and I've got Saku's current world record pulled up. Between the way I do it, the way Brooklyn does it, and the way Saku does it, it's three different methods, and I've got them all pulled up. So when we get to that section, I'll be switching between, I'll be switching here. I've got Brooklyn's here, and then Saku's there. So, um, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, right off the bat here, that first screen, there's literally nothing to say except for the pipe jump. You'll notice that right off the bat, I jump up, and then my input display shows me down and B at the same time. And what that does is down makes Yoshi go into the pipe, but B at the same time, down and B on the same frame, makes him do a pipe glitch. And he goes, it registers him as going down the pipe, but it skips the animation. And if I remember correctly, this saves 32 frames every time you do it. So it saves roughly half a second every time you do it. And there, I believe, there are 12 or 13 places you can do it in Hundo. So if you nail them all over the course of a run, it can save you anywhere between 5 and 7 seconds. So anyway, that's a pipe glitch. Let me back up. You can see it again. Just like that. Now, this next section right here is nothing special. You just do, there's no rhyme or, I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason to those jumps. You just want to avoid slopes. I mean, it's a theme that you're going to hear throughout these tutorials. Avoid slopes, avoid slopes, avoid slopes. It's just a thing. So that's just the way I jumped over the slopes. Is just the way when I was learning this level, I didn't like the way Trix did it in his tutorial that he had, so I kind of manufactured my own way there to not lose speed. So anyway, you just do jumps to avoid the slopes, and then come over here, miss the message block, jump through here, and then ground pound on this. There's 6 stars there. You want to get them all. And again, slopes right here are bad. Slopes, bad. Never run on them. So you want to do some jumps to get over them. So what I do there is I get the stars and I kind of jump over, and then I land kind of right here so I can run without losing speed. And then I want to tongue this guy and make an egg. And then while all in the same forward motion as I'm making the egg, you want to come right over this post and you want to pound 2 times. Because there is a red coin in that thing there. So you pound and you jump out. Depending, this is kind of RNG here. He ended up walking right for me, which is kind of ideal, because then you could just jump over in here and then eat him and keep going. Because there's 4 red coins here. There's one here, and then you'll see they kind of make a pattern like that. So I run across here, I grab him, and I make the egg as I'm passing through those 4 coins. So quick thing to note here is if you jump to, like where I jumped was kind of perfect. It was almost too early, but I clip and get that coin. I actually touch it. I didn't think I was going to, but if you jump too far back on this thing, you'll miss that first coin and either have to egg it or manually run back and get it. So you just swallow him as you're going through there. Again, very, very steep slope will lose you just a bunch of time if you run up that. So you want to run forward. An interesting mechanic is if you run forward and then jump like at a slope, it kind of pushes Yoshi up there to where he doesn't touch the slope and maintains his full speed. So then you want to jump down here because you have 2 red coins and a flower down here. And I kind of flutter there. And I eat. The reason you want to eat this first guy here is because if you don't and you just go for the coins, the munchers will both just kind of drop down and they'll be in your way, and it's just a big mess. So the easiest way to do it is just to grab this first one, make an egg, drop down. Now these two shots here can be very, very tricky. And I'll show you here in a minute the way. There's actually a different way you can do this too. The way I do it here is I come down and I start aiming an egg as I fall off, and I aim it to about right there, and then I shoot it as I'm running off, and it will ricochet, get the first red coin, and then break on the flower, and then you have to throw a second egg to get the last coin. And you don't really need to worry about any of these stars or anything because you have a mid-ring you're about to get. Anyway, let's see that one more time. Flutter down, eat him, fall down, and as I start aiming an egg, and then I throw it at about this angle so it will ricochet down, get this coin, get the flower, and then throw a second egg, which, you know, like I said, when you start aiming an egg normally, it starts at the bottom and goes up. You just kind of let it come up very slightly and then just let it go. It's almost a neutral. Just kind of an almost neutral. I'll use that term a little bit too. It's where you don't just tap A, you kind of hold A for about a half a second and then let go. So then as you're coming back up here, you remember there was one muncher that you did not eat. And he will fall on you and hit you. So you want to up tongue and grab him and make an egg as you're coming up. And then this is pretty self-explanatory. You just jump. This can be kind of tight here. You want to land here and tongue and make an egg with this guy as you're going through. And I had to do, you can see there just real quick, I had to flutter there for just a second, because if I didn't, I would have missed this. And if you fall down here, it wastes 3 or 4 seconds because you have to get back up and jump back over. So anyway, you just land on this post and run off, and you'll get right into the bottom of the goal ring. What I do when I land is I do a quick jump here. One thing to note is when Yoshi just runs off an edge without jumping, he will run off the edge and he will be falling at his fastest possible speed, which can be useful in some other levels. But here, I just do a quick jump here because you want to turn back and you want to avoid hitting. You want to kind of avoid hitting the slope here, and you want to not land there. You want to miss this and just kind of fall right down in here. And I get that guy in my mouth, and then as I'm getting these two coins and a flower, I swallow him. And then I grab this next muncher here, and I keep him in my mouth. Okay, this is where things get different. This is where rockshot happens or doesn't happen. And in this case of my tutorial, the way I'm going to show you now, the first is I'm going to show you how to not do rockshot. And it doesn't lose that much time to do it this way. So what I normally do is I hold this guy in my mouth until I break open the star cloud over here, because I have 6 eggs behind me right now. So if I swallow him, it'll just because you can only carry 6 max, so it will just waste an egg. So I essentially have 7 eggs right now. I have 6 behind me and 1 guy in my mouth. So I jump up, avoid the slope again, and then I start aiming an egg and aiming not an upshot egg. I start aiming just a regular aim, and then I lock the cursor horizontally, almost at an exact horizontal angle, while I'm pushing the chomp rock, just like that. And then I back up a little bit, because if the chomp rock physics are really weird, if you push it and you stay touching it as it pushes it, it does weird things to your speed and your jump, and it's just really kind of dumb. So I push it and I back up a little bit so that that chomp rock is not messing with my speed, and I run down, and as soon as the egg will clear this, I throw it to get all 4 red coins, and then I jump onto this, and then I throw an upshot to get that, and then as I'm passing through this to get the stars, I swallow the enemy in my mouth. And that will put you at 30 stars. So you definitely don't want to get hit at any other point during this level, because making stars up toward the end of the stage can be very tricky. So anyway, I'll go ahead and let's see. Go ahead and again avoid the slope, jump up, jump out, and okay. So rockshot's done. This is where I'm kind of switch gears for a minute. So this is Brooklyn's, and that is really loud. I'm sorry. Hold on. So you can see he Brooklyn does the same. It's the same basic route through the start of 1-3. Okay, this is where I told you there's two different ways you can do this. So watch what Brooklyn does here. He does the same kind of thing here, throws the egg, and then he jumps and then throws another neutral. And that essentially does the same thing, except it's a little faster because he doesn't actually come down here. So then he up-tongues that guy. Same thing. Okay. Now, he does the same thing here. He falls down, except you're going to watch him throw an upshot against the ceiling to ricochet, and it's going to make 2 stars. And he is doing this because he skips the star cloud that's in here. So he has to make his stars up in another way. So he tongues that guy. Upshot right there. And it will break against this flower. And it will make 2 stars. And he grabs the flower, the 2 coins, and the 2 stars all at the same time. Just like that. He tongues this guy, eats him. Okay, so what Brooklyn does right here is it's very... let's back up a little bit. Hold on. Whoops. Hold on. So, I need to back up here. Okay. So he... Let's frame by frame this. Okay, so he jumps up. Okay, hold on. It's... Jumps up, ducks, and then he throws a neutral. And what that does is it does a weird trajectory here, and it goes through and grabs all 4 coins. Just like that. It's a little bit tricky to do that. It's a very, very precise location, because what he has to do is he comes up here and he'll duck. He'll land here, and then he ducks just to kind of preserve his position. And this is a very, very precise position. I don't think, or precise position. I don't think this is pixel perfect, but I think it's pretty close. He ducks and it moves him a little bit, and then he stands up and he'll throw the neutral. And when he throws, that's really important to note for this trick, that when he throws the neutral, he throws it and then immediately starts moving forward, because the position that he's in, if he just threw the neutral and then stood there, it would only get these 3 coins, because that fourth coin does not load in until you move forward. So that's Brooklyn's method. So Saku. Okay, Saku didn't do the pipe jump, which really it's... Okay, Saku does kind of what I do there. It really just your personal preference. When you start doing this, when your muscle memory starts taking over, whatever you want to do is fine. Okay, I missed it. Okay, so Saku's strat here is he actually jumps off this thing, goes ahead and he gets his height off this thing instead of jumping right here to get down. So this is what tricks in his tutorials. This is what he taught to do. You want to hover against. You hover. You can either, there's 2 different, like, little variances here. Saku hovered about right here and landed. You can also come down, hover against this, and then land, and throw a neutral. And the way you're standing here, all 4 coins are actually loaded in. So then you throw it, and it gets all 4 coins, and then and he continues on with the rockshot strats by making stars here because when you do it the way I do it, you get the star cloud and you end up at 30 stars, so you don't have to do the red egg strat here. But that is the 3 techniques for rockshot in a nutshell. They take a lot of practice. They're Brooklyn's method. I'd argue that Brooklyn's method is actually harder, even though it seems to be a lot more consistent. I could never make this method that Saku does. I could never make that work. So anyway, past rockshot. You want to jump up here. And Brooklyn in his PB, there's and I need to figure this out myself, but my current strat here is a little bit slower. I run up here and I actually touch this so that I can guarantee that I'm not going to get hit by the falling munchers. I touch it and I jump up off the post. You want to land here and then do a jump again in between these things if you opt to do this strat, and then upshot to get the flower. And as you're coming over that, you want to start hovering and aiming an egg at the same time. And then when it's horizontal with this red coin here, or just right above, right into the second coin here, which happens to be a red coin, let it go and keep hovering, and then land. Optimally, you want to land right between these, so you're pounding both of these down, and you want to pound these all the way down. You want to pound all of those all the way down, or both of those all the way down, because I say that you need to pound that first one until you get the red coin from this side up here, and then if you want, you can move forward a little bit and pound this one down. I just opt to pound them both down to get both of those red coins. And I jump up here and I up tongue to grab that guy so he doesn't hit me. I jump up, eat that guy, and then so optimally here, what you want to do, this is where a perfect jump could really come in handy on a slope, because if you land here in perfect jump, you won't lose a 1 frame of speed. You will keep going because the game will not register you as on the ground. So I tried to do that here, but I missed it, and I actually landed and it didn't register my jump. And then I accidentally tongued this chomp rock for some reason. But you want to eat that spore so it doesn't hit you and fall down and keep jumping. And then as you come here, you want to up tongue that spore so it doesn't hit you. And just do a series of quick jumps as best you can to get out of this section. And as you're running through here, you want to start, as you're running about right here, you just want to upshot that flower. So this is far and away the hardest part of the level right here. Is at the very end of this cave section. You are going to run, jump over this chomp rock and grab this guy. And as I grab him, I jump kind of right here and then spit him instantly. Up spit. And what that does is he hits here and he will spin here for a minute, and then you can bounce off of him, and I'll show you what to do next. One thing to note about spinning enemies is they have I can't remember how many seconds of iframes, but his head will not register as being able to be jumped off of until he stops spinning. So I kind of tarry here for like half a second and kind of wait and then bounce off. Okay, so that happened really fast. So you want to upspit him, and then come over here and grab this guy while the red guy's finishing spinning. Turn around, bounce off of this guy's head, and start aiming an egg. And you can do this however you're comfortable. I've seen some people start aiming from the top and then lock their shot. Pardon me. I don't think I actually locked mine here. I have it down in such a way that I don't think I ever have to lock my cursor. You just I start letting the cursor go, and as it's in line, there's a red coin here, and then there's one up here. So as the cursor is coming up, I let it go, so that it'll get all the coins, and in almost the same motion, I turn around, and then spit that guy, the green guy, so that he will get the flower. You can upspit there. But sometimes if Yoshi's spitting horizontal spitting trajectory, uh, for lack of a better term, is not clear of this wall, he will not spit the shy guy, and instead you'll just fall all the way down and you're left with a flower that's not collected here. If that happens, what I do is I stand here and I upspit the green shy guy against the wall, wait for him to stop spinning, and then bounce off of him, and then bounce up here, and then shoot the egg and keep going. So then you just want to, obviously, a big jump here to clear that humongous slope. And nothing special here. There's a shy guy going to come out of this pipe. So what I do is I just do a jump and then just a basic. I don't eat him right away because sometimes when I do that I end up getting eaten by this piranha plant. So I just tongue him and then swallow him as I'm making sure I'm clear of this piranha. And this, some people tongue this guy as he comes down. You actually don't need an enemy for the bonus skip here. This is probably the easiest bonus. I say that. 1-1 and 1-2 are the only stages in World 1 where you have to Z-Wing. The bonus skip in 1-3 is free. There is no tricky setup. 1-4 there's a boss, so there's no goal ring. 1-5 is an auto scroller, and you just use the auto scroll to help you there. 1-6 has a free setup, 1-7 has a free setup, and then 1-8 is a boss. So you have 1-1 and 1-2 where you have to do the Z-Wing, but here, starting from 1-3 to 1-8, you don't even have to worry about it anymore. So the way you bonus skip here is actually really, really freaking easy. You jump over this piranha, obviously just to not get hit, and then as you land, you just want to make sure you run on this for, I say run, I don't think that's actually the important part. The important part is that you land on this slope and then just jump and run at the goal full speed, and it will always land right here. And that's 1-3. Not like super difficult, but that last part of that cave section can be kind of rough. It took me a while to get that down, so we're gonna go ahead and let it play from the beginning and let you guys see at least my route through this stage uninterrupted. I urge you, very, very strongly urge you to try different things. These tutorials are in no way gospel. This is just one runner's take on the level. So I urge you to seek out other strats. Watch other players, Icterus, Saku, Calco, Poor, Brooklyn, very, very high level 100% runners that are all very, very good. So I urge you, just seek them out, seek their PBs out, and just watch what they do here. But anyway, this is just my route. So anyway, let's play this.